AEW started this week's episode of Dynamite by telling us that the tag team eliminator tournament was starting. Alright, wasn't aware of that. And we were going to get a match later that was FTR versus JetSpeed. And the winner of this tournament shall take on the Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door. Or maybe the finals at Forbidden Door. The point is this, we are about to get some tag team action. And it came from nowhere. Hangman and Page also caught up with Renee Paquette, and Renee was all like, oh, hi, Mr. Cowboy. Why do you want to take on Wheeler Yuta later? It's like, do you not watch television, Renee? Did you not see what the Death Riders did to Colt Cabana? On that show, they tried to kill him, so now I have to kill Wheeler Yuta. I mean, all is fair in love and war. MJF then walked in and he is super duper confident about beating Hangman for his world championship because he's a massive hypocrite and he's not even going to use his magical contract. He's going to beat him fair and square in the middle of the ring. Hangman just went, yeah, well, that's great, but you're a coward and a loser. You ain't getting no shot at this championship, so if you're going to do anything, you better use that deal. And he walked off. Surprise, surprise, Maxwell Jacob Friedman was not happy at all. I'm always a big fan of that, though, because those two feuding just feels like AEW OGs. And also, my friends, welcome to Ups and Downs for AEW, the only wrestling review show you need, because I shall watch wrestling, so you don't have to, or you can watch it and then come on here and go, Simon, you don't know what you're talking about. And no, I don't. How have you not realized this by now? But we're here, so we may as well say something. Let's up those downs. When we did get to Wheeler Yuta versus Hangman Adam Page, I just thought AEW did a great job here, because Wheeler Yuta jumped Hangman, which made all the sense in the world. Otherwise, he was going to get absolutely blistered when Hangman fought his way back. He threw Wheeler into Barricade around about 47 times. When he hit him with one lariat, then he hit with the buckshot lariat, and he pinned him, and it only took about 3 minutes. Now, what I really loved about this, though, is that afterwards, Hangman got that chain, because let's not forget, even though he is a beloved babyface, and we'll talk about how much he loved his family, he'll also try and murder you because he's a psychopath, and he was going to do that hanging thing that he did to Jon Moxley at All In, but instead, as he was about to kill him, he was like, oh, look, nobody's coming for you, Wheeler Yuta, because the Death Riders, they're not your friends, and they're using you. And also, they basically turned you into a stick of bologna. I don't know what that is. Now, really, it's because deep down, Page is a good guy and he was trying to send a message here. This was so damn good. It was layered, man. It was like dodgeball, and you could dive right into it. It's also going to tie in to what happens at the end of the show. But listen, if you do have a brand new good guy world champion, he should be stomping on flies. He should be winning matches because it just makes him a badass. There ain't nothing wrong with a badass. There's this weird discourse now in wrestling that if someone who is meant to be a babyface acts a bit too aggressive, that makes them a heel. We need to put a full stop on that right away. I mean, what the flub would you have done during Stone Cold Steve Austin's run? I'm giving it an up. Hangman is on fire right now. And if you were going to put a gun to my head, I'd probably tell you in terms of the first half of 2025, he would be in the number one position. Billie, Starkz and Athena were then backstage and they were talking a bunch of nicknames and stuff, and also said that AEW stands for Athena Elite Wrestling. So my question is, why the flubber she's been spending so much time in Ring of Honor? Of course, Billie Starkz is going to beat Toni Storm later when Athena went, no, you're going to take her out. I don't think she meant for dinner. That's what we're doing now. Athena also has a magical contract, and maybe she's going to cash it in on Toni Storm. There's only one way to find out. Watch the show. And also, the people that are saying, oh, this is too much like WWE. Well, sometimes WWE does stuff that's like other wrestling companies. There are no brand new ideas. As long as the story works and you're enjoying it, who cares, man? Stop with this absolute gibberish. I mean, what do you want to do? You want wrestlers to walk on screen and go, I cannot move, otherwise I'll be copying. I mean, South Park did this with The Simpsons around about 10 years ago. When we did kick off this big old tag tournament, and listen, I'm going to be a massive nerd, but I can't help it. I just think we should promote these things more. I don't mind it coming out of nowhere, because again, I'm not bothered about ratings. The only rating I care about is my rating, because I'm me, and I'm an absolute loser. When I watch, it's a rating of 1, so I'm not contributing at all. But I like getting excited about things, and also I think it would have helped the AEW tag team titles, which maybe do just need to be elevated a little bit. So yes, I'm being a little bit wishy-washy here. Just gonna give it a tiny down. Also, for the people that go, I can't believe you did that, this is my down. I'm not saying that AEW made a mistake. I'm not saying that AEW did something wrong. I'm saying this is how I felt when I watched it. Otherwise, once again, my show would be like what we're just talking about. Welcome to Ups and Downs. Let me cook. Once again, I don't know. Also, shout out to the Guns as well, because Colt and Gunn actually got injured last week and they're meant to be in this tag team tournament. Now they're not, so that absolutely sucks. But we did get FTR versus JetSpeed, and of course it was good, like it was the old school versus the new school, but they came together like eating spaghetti bolognese. Bless Stokely Hathaway as well, because he came out all beaten up with crutches and stuff after Adam Copeland had speared him last week. And FTR instantly were going for the shatter machine. I was like, well, that's how you know they're a couple of traditionalists. Nobody has told them about the meters. You gotta build it up. Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight then did a couple of double eyes, so bam, put a 1 on the dive counter, which is zooming up almost as fast as people are doing dives in wrestling, which makes sense, that's the whole idea of the thing. When JetSpeed were doing double drop kicks because they love combos, when Dax and Cash were like, right, now we are going to go after some legs here, and they were using the ring post, and they were applying sharpshooters. I mean, yeah, that's gonna do it. The really cool bit is that FTR only got halfway through the powerplex when all of a sudden Mike Bailey flew in with a shooting star press, and then it was just you go, I go, we all go. Honestly, I could watch them fight forever, or the allocated minutes they get on TV. Dax then stopped Kevin's UFO splash and was going to do that flip powerbomb thing when Kevin Knight reversed that into the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment surprise roll-up, which would have been a wonderful finish, but Dax kicked out and good grief, he was mad. Clearly Mike Bailey didn't learn from this though, because he then just flew in and he did get nailed with a bomb of power, which is when Dax and Kev went back and forth with surprise roll-ups, because everybody loves a surprise roll-up, when Harwood was in the right position and he stole Stokely Hathaway with the crutch, so basically used it as leverage and got the 1, 2, 3. I tell you, man, FTR with Stokes are 3 wonderful heels. Hathaway also got the microphone afterwards and says that Adam Copeland should be in jail, given what he did 7 days ago. When out came Adam, he was like, oh, hi, I know I'm not allowed to be in so feet of FTR, otherwise I'll get fired. That's why I went and did a bit of business. When the Hurt Syndicate came out, man, round of applause. Somehow knowing they had done this made their music sound even more intimidating. And also, what a great way to start teasing Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, taking on Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. So yeah, this was a great idea. When eventually the useless wrestling security did break them up. So if I was Adam, I'd ask for a refund. And when he went to spear Stokely Hathaway again, Stokely is so good, he used one of these security guards as a shield. So now essentially we're at an impasse. FTR then ran away, and it was such a good reminder who the Hurt Business / Hurt Syndicate are. They will beat you up for money. Giving this an up. Genuinely, I thought all of this was so damn good, as was the match. A bit worried about what we do with JetSpeed now, because that's 0-2 when it does come to these titles. But was I entertained? You bet your ass. The Patriarchy then basically told us they are going to turn up on Collision to carry on what they started at the pay-per-view. And maybe Christian Cage will return soon, because it has been a while when we got this awesome promo with Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir. He's like, all right, Hangman, you beat me on that night at All In, but you did it once. Can you do it twice? And where are you going to be when the credits roll? He essentially wants to see Hangman do it again, so he was going Britney Spears here. Oops, when he was all like, listen, everybody can make a mistake, everybody can make an error, and that's what happened with me, Jonathan Moxley, but I am still the dude around here. If I can kill you, I will. So he promised to fix all of this tonight, which is something you always want to say during a wrestling show, when Marina Shafir kind of got into the camera, and I think she said something, but there was no audio. So that may have been a production mistake, I don't know. But I'm giving it an up. When Jon Moxley has his eye on something or he's focused, my gosh, you can believe every word he says. This is very, very good. When we did get to the sad moment of the show, so no ups and no downs, because really I don't know what is going on, but Will Ospreay came out to talk to Tony Schiavone and us and was like, yeah, the reason I wasn't here last week is because I was getting a bunch of tests, and essentially, I am quite badly hurt. He acted like nobody knew he was coming when he did ask Tony Khan for 5 minutes, when he thanked Swerve Strickland and said, listen, the reason I didn't tell anybody this is because we did have to get to All In to win this World Championship back. But yeah, I've got a bunch of problems with my back and a bunch of problems with my neck, and I've got herniated discs and all of this stuff. When he was like, every doctor I've talked to says I can be back by Forbidden Door, which is like in 5 weeks' time or something. Now listen, I am not a doctor, I know, surprise, surprise. But there was a part of me, quite a big part, this part right here, that was like, Will, I get it, it's in the UK, and you're a hometown hero, but if you need some time to chill and some time to rest, again, I don't need to be his dad here, but you should take that. Wrestling will always be there for you, and I don't want this to happen, but even if he retired tomorrow, he would be an all-timer, man. He essentially changed the game. His whole point, though, was that when he is healthy, he's going to go back after the Death Riders again, when he did have a big old hug with Swerve Strickland. And look, nobody needs me telling them what to do, because what do I know? Absolutely nothing. I just hope he's okay. So again, no ups, no downs. This is super serious stuff, but it was scary and it was worrying, because Will has talked about this stuff before. Like wrestling is super duper important, but it is the most important of the least important things, and there is nothing more important than your health. So I'm just going to take this Street Fighter Rio ball of love and positivity and fire it his way. Just hope he's fine. We then went right into this really cool video for the brand new trio of Julia, Hart, Skye, Blue, and Thekla. And this is what they said, because I don't think I can do it justice otherwise. Play some music to make it all spooky wooky. But they went, it's only a sin to resist. We aren't friends or sisters. We have one bond and you are going to feel its effects. We have one goal, to infect the entire women's divisions. And then something like the heart always wins. And the last thing you see will be us three. Also, that was the wrong music, you idiots. You totally ruined that. But it's meant to be spooky wooky, and their catchphrase kind of rhymes. I mean, they did look pretty good together, so we wait and see. Willow Nightingale also popped in and was all like, man, I'm so bored about being distracted with the Death Riders and Chris Statlander, but Thekla, I just saw what you were doing, so my spidey senses are tingling, and we should have a fight. I just want to point out, Willow Nightingale is such a good babyface promo. At the end, like, man, Willow, I just want you to win everything. But did we ever get the Marina Shafir match? I don't think we did, and I kind of think we need that. I'm going to put it over here for now, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. Those two were tangling and tussling, but I guess they went at it during Anarchy in the Arena. I don't know, man. One for the comments. When we absolutely got our first sense of dissension because Renee Paquette was talking to the Hurt Syndicate, who were like, oh man, we're the best, and we're going to beat everybody up. When MJF walked in and was like, wait a minute, no one told me about this Adam Copeland stuff. I had to sneak in here for months. And why was nobody backing me up when I went and yelled at Hangman Adam Page? I mean, I really want to win my world title back. And as has been the way over the last few weeks, anytime he mentions this, Bobby Lashley has a conniption. And this time he was done. He grabbed MJF. He put him up against the lockers. Like, right, I am sick and tired of you. You are getting the thumb down, so I'll be sending him a cease and desist letter very soon. As far as I'm concerned, I want you out the group. And he left. And MVP left. And Shelton Benjamin left. And he did disappointed dad nod before he trolled away. So I do believe Maxwell Jacob Friedman's in the spot of bother, or they're working us. It's wrestling, we don't know. When it was time for Toni Storm versus Billie Starkz, and I absolutely love this. For starters, Athena was watching from the balcony and was like, if you're gonna cash in that magical contract, it's a long way to go. But Billie Starkz is only 20 years old. She just gets better every single time. And seeing her tussle with the Timeless One here, I just thought it was a good time. I picked the wrong word. Athena being all that far away actually screwed Billie as well, because she kept looking for her leader for approval, so Toni Storm smacked her one, and then we got a dive. For the one on the counter, that's gonna be at 100 before September. We also saw Toni Storm do a Lou Thesz press, which I massively liked. I started to ponder to myself, I wonder if more people don't do this because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. When Billie Starkz realized that Toni Storm was trying to apply the chicken wings, so she got out of that, she went for a swanton, went right into Toni's knees. When it was time for more wings that came from a chicken, she locked that on, and Billie Starkz did have to tap out. So now Toni Storm is becoming like Gunther. I have a lot of finishers, and I can beat you from anywhere. Now, the Timeless One posed after the match, and how many times do I have to tell you, you can't do that in 2025, which is when Billie Starkz jumped her and gave her a punch, when she was like, Athena, Athena, you should come down here and use your magical contract. And just when that was about to happen, well, for starters, they attacked Aubrey Edwards for some reason, the referee. But this got broken up by Alex Windsor. Now I get it, on Collision it's Alex Windsor versus Athena for the ROH title. Why does Alex Windsor care? Surely if Athena had won, you could be like, Athena, I'm now going to challenge you for both those belts. And maybe Alex and Toni are friends, but this is the wrestling business, man. You should have gone for it. Ultimately, though, I am going to give it an up because I just really like seeing Billie Starkz and Athena on proper AEW TV, for lack of a better term. And when it comes to Timeless Toni Storm, well, if Hangman is here, Storm is right here too. I want to make sure they're at the same level, right? That's what I'm saying. They're 1A and 1B, or 1A and 1B. They're both absolutely terrific. And I love the fact that Mercedes Moné has gone away, which rhymes, so it must be true, because it just means her presence looms large over the Federation. I don't know, sounded cool. I still do think it should be a little bit like Poochie from The Simpsons, when everyone walks around going, well, where did Mercedes go? I mean, maybe the commentators did mention it and I didn't hear, but you don't want people just vanishing into the abyss. That does happen sometimes in AEW, and if you are a Mercedes fan, well, it's just nice to be given a little bit of information. When we did get Swerve Strickland versus Hechichero, we put a 1 on the randomizer. Not being negative about it, but you know, we have to appease the randomizer, otherwise it will randomize us. And listen, by this point, I know I say it every week, but I got to, because I still get people messaging me. If you do not understand that AEW is going to give you random matches out of nowhere, then you are the problem. Again, if you work into a burger store and you want a pizza, then you get mad there's no cheese on toast, you are the problem, man. You know what they're going to do. That's what they want to do. You don't have to like it and you don't have to watch it. but by this stage you do have to accept it. Hechichero is most definitely part of the Don Callis family now too, because Don did his intro and it was so good, like a proper old school manager. I don't speak Spanish, so I could be wrong, but somebody told me when he said, "Here comes Hechichero," actually what he said, I would imagine intentionally, was, "I am Hechichero." Goofy wrestling for life, I love it. Otherwise, they just had a really good match. I can tell you, I'm going to be a bit unfair to AEW here. But I got so into it, and it got me so Jeopardy-wise, well, who is going to win? Because neither of these guys should lose. That when Lance Archer interfered for the disqualification, I instantly gave it a down. Now, AEW is actually quite reserved with their DQs, but it genuinely annoyed me. So yeah, that is a bunch of baloney, because that's what it was meant to do, but it also got the real version of Simon Miller. I don't even know what that means, but I'm giving it a down. There's just too many disqualifications in wrestling these days when you do have two people going at it and you don't know who's going to win. I mean, that's a problem with professional wrestling overall, but I do watch over it, so I can't get it out of my brain. Of course, it's also one on the dick board because, of course, that continues to run wild, and eventually Don Callis' family were beating people up, so out came Brody King and Bandito, who I always do want to see. When Okada teleported in, he just whammed Swerve Strickland. He was so happy with himself, he made me laugh. Now, I do actually have to say, though, and once again, maybe I'm going on a flight of fancy here, it's totally bizarre that Okada has just left the Elite and nobody has said anything about it. Like, I presume the story was going to be, "Oh, Matt and Nick Jackson, you're not EVPs anymore, so I don't care about you." But he had essentially checked out even before they lost their business status, and now he's not said one word about them. Giving that a down, once again, like, "Simon, you just give downs for anything nowadays." I think that's a missed opportunity, man. That could have been a really fun story, especially because Okada always makes me laugh. He was still going to tombstone Swerve right into a chair when Swerve reversed it, and he was going to Pillmanize Okada before everybody got involved to separate them. But look, the match was good, and we're getting Swerve versus Okada, which can't be bad. They could go to the ring and play dominoes, and they'd still find a way to make it work. I'm giving it an up, and isn't it awesome we live in a world where we get Hechichero versus Swerve? If I had told you that a few years ago, you would have punched me in the face, and you would have been right to have done it. Ricochet and the Gates of Agony were then celebrating the fact they had won $200,000 on Collision, and they're going to use it for their future, when they said something like, "We demand your fear and your respect, and that's not a request, you have to do it." And I was like, well, I don't know if I can just turn that emotion on. I mean, I'll give it a go. Hopefully that works. Otherwise, what? Do you beat me up? That doesn't seem very fair, man. I mean, you just put me on the spot here, and I am bald. Hopefully that gives me a free pass. MJF then walked out in mad mode, which is understandable. He was like, "Listen, I don't need Bob to win a world championship. And you listen to me, Mr. Cowboy. I am coming back after that championship. I told you, I will not use that magical contract. Then I will have a get-out-of-jail-free card for a long-ass time." Now, Mark Briscoe must have been listening to this because he came out, probably annoyed that he wasn't saying anything about him. And his first line was amazing. He was like, "Listen to me, Maxwell. I'm going to keep this like your kosher penis because I'm going to be short." Like, dude, what a fantastic pun. He also wants to fight MJF next week because he did steal that casino gauntlet from him. He was so funny here again when he talked about the fact all he wants to do is stick the microphone up Max's ass, but he can't do that because he's going to get fined and the company would never be able to retrieve it. So let's have a fight right now. And of course, MJF's like, "No, we're not going to do that because while everybody likes you, you're also a massive idiot like these people because you're from the Midwest." He totally understands that the fans like Mark Briscoe though because he makes them feel warm and fuzzy. No, he didn't say tum-tum here. And actually, warm and fuzzy is a very common phrase, so I'm going to pretend he stole it from me in my own fantasy land because it makes me feel good. But Mark, dude, you ain't top level, and AEW just wheels you around like a clown. And of course, then got really dark because he said, "Man, it must really get to you too, that deep down in your Tootsie Toes, you know that nobody respects you. Whereas if Jay was still walking around, everybody would respect him." That's when Mark is like, "Yes, I'm going to rip your head off," and he went after him. So these two really have a great vibe, and when we do get to the match, I think it's going to have all the heat in the world. And look, we've talked about it 1,000 times now. If Mark Briscoe is cool with it and the Briscoe family is cool with it, then you can do whatever you want. It's Jay's memory, and they should commemorate it however they see fit. And also, if you do look at it from a character point of view, it would be weirder if MJF didn't mention it, because MJF is meant to be the worst person on the planet. They should go and teach science because they have great chemistry. And I can't wait for this match. It's not about titles. It's not about prizes. It's just about the fact that these two can't stand each other. I'm very excited about it. MJF is a great heel. Mark Briscoe is a terrific babyface. Let's gang it up. Claudio Castagnoli then walked out with the coolest damn entrance I've ever seen in my life. When our main event was Mark Briscoe versus Claudio, I was actually really happy. These are the kind of random matches I like to see. But also it isn't random because Mark Briscoe has been feuding with the Death Riders for around about 72 years. Claudio loved him some Syndicate uppercuts too, because of course he did, and Mark was just acting like a madman. And he did a dive at one point, so we put one on the dive counter. And we also saw Darby Allin sitting in the crowd like he was Sting, and the Death Riders are the NWO. So that one has to get a massive round of applause too, because it has been over 20 years since we last did that, and it has all the justification in the world, because who taught Darby Allin this? It was Sting, his fake dad. Kabing, kadaboom. Castagnoli then raked the eyes, because it is 2025 and he's a heel, when he went for the neutralizer, but Mark Briscoe got out of that when all of a sudden Claudio was raking the eyes again. He went for the neutralizer, it was like a copy and paste, where Mark Briscoe used the most devastating move in all the sports at a time, a surprise roll-up, and he got the 1, 2, 3. You know the deal with that. I'm giving it a down. AEW actually was right to do this, but you know, I've already got due past here, whatever that means, due cause. You know what I'm talking about. I say this for WWE. I can't give AEW a free pass. You don't need to do it all the time. A surprise roll-up once on a show is more than fine. Also because now, just by overuse, you essentially told your audience, well, if somebody does get beat by the most devastating move, it's not a real loss. Kind of think Mark Briscoe could have got his finisher and got the win. Like, I love Claudio, but I think it would have been fine. And 2 seconds after this, the Death Riders attack, because of course they do. It's in their veins. Now, the best thing about this is eventually Hangman Adam Page walked out, and as soon as his music hit, the Riders of Death stopped, because they are intimidated by this man. And he was all right. Listen to me, Jon Moxley. You thought deep down that I wouldn't accept the Texas Death Match, but I did. But I actually think you think I'm too coward to accept a rematch. Well, listen, I'm the champ. It's on my terms. We are going to do this next week on Dynamite, and everybody is banned from ringside, apart from the referee. I was like, that's a weird thing to say, Hangman Adam Page. That's like me going, listen, all cheese goods are not allowed, apart from pizza. You'd be like, wait a minute, you're coming up with something here. So now I've got a little bit of fear in my tum-tum. Something is cooking. Jon Moxley accepted, but also did look a bit intimidated, because now he does have to go it alone. This feud just rules. Doing the rematch on TV rules. Who's going to get mad about that? If you are going, I can't believe they're doing this on free television, I'll take your pay-per-view money. You can send it to me, but it just feels like something you should care about. That's the whole point of wrestling. Also, let's throw all these things together, because Mark Briscoe did win a match. No matter how he still did do it, it was a good main event, and the aftermath got you so pumped for next week. It probably will help when it comes to the ratings. Once again, I don't mind. I'm giving it an up. Overall, good episode of Dynamite. I think they've actually capitalized quite well on all the momentum from All In. Like, I want to watch the TV. Again, that's the whole idea. Getting it up. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about all of this. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs for Raw, because all wrestling is awesome as far as I'm concerned, apart from the bad bits, which usually are surprise roll-ups. But I appreciate you, my friends. Thank you for your time. See you soon.